We all want to be happy, but happiness isn't the same as having an unbreakable positive mental attitude. Happiness can be fleeting. A good cup of coffee, a sunny morning, a compliment from a friend. A positive mental attitude, on the other hand, is the decision to see possibility even in the middle of the storm. The real question is, why does this matter so much? Because life doesn't always go according to plan. Sometimes it feels like the universe throws curveball after curveball, and you're standing at the plate with no bat. In those moments, your ability to think clearly, stay hopeful, and move forward comes not from luck, but from the mindset you've built long before the challenge arrived. In all life, the why behind developing this kind of mental strength isn't about avoiding pain. Pain is part of life. It's about making sure pain doesn't define the story you tell yourself. It's about ensuring you don't become the victim of your own thoughts when the world seems determined to push you down. To push you down. Every leader, innovator, and world changer you admire has one thing in common. They faced obstacles that could have broken them. The difference wasn't talent alone, and it wasn't resources. It was the belief that even in the worst moments, they still had a choice. The choice to respond with vision instead of despair. That choice is powered by a positive mental attitude. When you understand your why, you stop chasing motivation like a spark that comes and goes. Instead, you build something deeper, a fire that burns regardless of the weather. It's the difference between waiting for the perfect moment and creating it. The truth is, most people only think about their attitude when life gets tough. But the best time to start shaping your mindset is when things are ordinary, when there's no crisis forcing you to. This is how you prepare your mind like a muscle, so that when the weight of life comes crashing down, you can lift it. Your why is your anchor in the storm. It's the reminder of who you want to be when things aren't easy. And it has to be bigger than comfort, bigger than ego, and bigger than fear. Without that, the first strong wind will blow you off course. When you connect deeply to why you want an unbreakable positive mental attitude, you're not just making a personal choice. You're making a statement to yourself and to the world that no matter what comes, you will rise. Two people can face the exact same situation and walk away with completely different stories. One sees disaster, the other sees opportunity. The only difference between them isn't luck, intelligence, or resources. It's perspective. How we choose to interpret events determines how we experience them. Or Verzera. Perspective is the lens through which we see life. If the lens is cracked, everything looks broken. If the lens is clear, we can see possibilities others overlook. That's why developing a positive mental attitude starts with training yourself to choose the lens that serves you best, not the one that fear hands you by default. Think about a time you faced rejection. Maybe a job you didn't get, a deal that fell through, or a relationship that ended. From one angle, it was the end of something important. From another, it was a redirection, a door closing, so another could open. Perspective doesn't change what happened, but it changes the meaning you give it, and that meaning changes your next move. The danger is that our brains are wired for survival, not optimism. We naturally scan for threats, remember failures more than successes, and focus on what could go wrong. This protective instinct was useful when we were avoiding predators. But in modern life, it can make us prisoners of worst-case thinking unless we deliberately shift our viewpoint. Changing perspective doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means refusing to let a single moment define the whole picture. The rain on your wedding day doesn't erase the love. A bad quarter doesn't erase the vision for the company. One chapter doesn't define the book. We can train perspective through the questions we ask ourselves. Instead of why is this happening to me? What can I learn from this? Instead of a this is the worst thing ever, try what opportunity could be hidden here. The questions shape the story, and the story shapes the outcome. Perspective is also contagious. The way you view challenges will influence how your team, your family, and your friends view theirs. When you see possibility in difficulty, you give others permission to do the same. That ripple effect can turn one person's positive mental attitude into a culture of resilience. Every event in life offers multiple angles. The power lies in choosing the one that fuels hope, action, and progress rather than fear, paralysis, and regret. The most important conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Long before you speak to a friend, a colleague, or a crowd, your inner voice has already decided what story you believe about yourself. That voice can be your greatest ally or your most destructive enemy. Self-talk is the running commentary in your head. The I can, or I can't. The this will work or this will fail. It's the constant stream of judgments, predictions, and narratives you create about your abilities, your worth, and your future. You can't turn it off, but you can decide how it speaks to you. Many people live their whole lives without questioning the tone of that voice. If it's critical, they assume it's telling the truth. But here's the reality. Your brain is not a perfect reporter. It's a storyteller. And just because the voice says you're not good enough doesn't mean that's fact. It means you've been rehearsing a negative script. Mastering self-talk begins with awareness. Pay attention to the language you use with yourself, especially when things go wrong. Do you call yourself stupid for making a mistake? Or do you tell yourself you just learned something valuable? This shift in words changes not only how you feel, but how you perform. Think of your mind like a garden. Negative self-talk is the weed that spreads if left unchecked. Positive self-talk is the seed you intentionally plant, water, and nurture. If you only focus on pulling weeds without planting new seeds, the soil stays empty, and weeds always return. One powerful way to reshape self-talk is through reframing. Instead of saying, "I've never done this before, I'm going to fail," say, "I've never done this before, I'm about to learn." The facts don't change, but the frame shifts from fear to curiosity. It's also critical to remember that self-talk thrives on repetition. One compliment to yourself won't undo years of inner criticism, but daily reinforcement, spoken out loud, written down, or mentally rehearsed, begins to overwrite the old narrative. Over time, your brain starts to believe the new story because you've given it enough evidence to. Kurt, the voice in your head is the voice you will hear more than any other in your life. Train it to speak with courage, with truth, and with belief in your ability to adapt and grow. A positive mental attitude isn't a lucky mood you wake up with. It's the byproduct of habits that reinforce optimism, resilience, and hope. Just like brushing your teeth keeps them clean, daily mental habits keep your outlook strong and clear. Without them, negativity creeps in almost unnoticed. The habit loop is simple. Cue, routine, reward. A cue is the trigger, something that prompts a thought or behavior. The routine is the action you take in response. The reward is the feeling or outcome that reinforces the loop. Understanding this pattern is the key to building habits that make positivity automatic. For example, waking up in the morning can be a cue. If your routine is to check the news and scroll through negativity online, the reward might be feeling informed, but also anxious. If instead, you use the cue of waking up to practice gratitude or visualize a productive day, the reward becomes motivation and clarity. The same cue, different loop, different mental outcome. Small habits are more powerful than grand gestures because they compound over time. Writing down 3 wins at the end of each day might feel minor, but after a year, that's over 1,000 reminders that progress is possible. Positivity builds through consistency, not occasional inspiration. Breaking a negative loop requires replacing the routine, not just removing it. If you simply try to stop complaining, you leave a void your brain will fill with the next easiest habit. But if you replace complaining with problem solving or appreciation, the loop starts to work for you instead of against you. The habit loop thrives on identity. If you see yourself as someone who finds the good, you're more likely to act in ways that confirm that belief. Every positive action you take is a vote for the kind of person you want to be. And over time, those votes become who you are. It's also important to make positive habits easy and obvious. Easy and obvious. Keep a journal on your nightstand. Set a reminder to send a kind message to someone each day. Place a book of inspiring stories where you normally keep your phone. The easier the habit, the more likely it becomes automatic. When positivity is wired into your daily routines, it stops being something you have to work at and starts being something that works for you. Even on the days you feel least like practicing it, setbacks are inevitable. No matter how skilled, prepared, or lucky you are, life will present moments that knock you off course. The difference between those who break and those who bounce back isn't the size of the obstacle, it's the way they interpret it. A setback can feel like a full stop, but in reality, it's often just a comma. It pauses your progress long enough to redirect you, refine you, or prepare you for something bigger. The people who turn setbacks into setups understand that the temporary loss is part of the process, not the end of it. Think about every major breakthrough in history, in business, in science, in art. Nearly all of them came after something went wrong, a failed experiment, a rejected idea, a closed door. What looked like defeat was actually the doorway to a new approach or a better opportunity that would have been invisible without the failure. This mindset doesn't come naturally. Our first instinct is often frustration, self-doubt, or even shame. But those emotions can be reframed. Instead of asking a why is this happening to me? You can ask, what is this preparing me for? That single shift changes the energy from helplessness to possibility. Turning setbacks into setups also means learning to extract lessons quickly. The faster you identify what went wrong, what you can control, and what you can improve, the faster the setback becomes a stepping stone. It's not about avoiding mistakes. It's about ensuring each mistake pays for your education. Sometimes the setup is not immediate. There are seasons where the benefit of a setback only reveals itself months or years later. Patience becomes part of the strategy, trusting that today's disappointment might be tomorrow's advantage. It's also about resilience in motion. People who use setbacks as setups don't just survive. They adapt in real time. They pivot. They test new ideas. They keep moving forward while others stand still waiting for the perfect conditions to return. Every setback contains the seed of a setup. The challenge is training your eyes to see it, even when it's buried deep under the frustration and uncertainty of the moment. Your mindset doesn't exist in isolation. It's constantly influenced by the people you spend time with, the places you inhabit, and the information you consume. If you want an unbreakable, positive mental attitude, you can't just work on your thoughts. You have to shape the environment that feeds them. Environment engineering is the intentional design of your surroundings to make the attitudes and behaviors you want the default, not the exception. Just like a gardener creates the right soil, light, and watering schedule for plants to thrive, you can create conditions for your own positivity to grow. Start with your physical space. The way your environment looks and feels has a direct impact on your mental state. A cluttered desk can create a cluttered mind, while a space filled with light, order, and personal inspiration can trigger focus and optimism. Small changes like rearranging your workspace, adding uplifting visuals, or keeping tools for growth within reach can shift how you think. Your social environment is equally powerful. The people you surround yourself with either reinforce your belief in possibilities or drain it away. If you spend most of your time with chronic complainers, your mindset will reflect that. If you're around people who challenge you to grow, celebrate progress, and see opportunity, that perspective becomes contagious. Then there's your digital environment. The content you consume shapes your thoughts more than most people realize. Your news feed, podcasts, videos, and even background music can pull your mind toward hope or toward fear. Curating your inputs isn't about ignoring reality. It's about ensuring your mental diet supports resilience instead of undermining it. Environment engineering also means removing triggers that lead to negative spirals. If late-night social media scrolling leaves you anxious, move your phone out of the bedroom. If a particular conversation topic always turns toxic, set boundaries around it. And the less energy you spend resisting negativity, the more you have to invest in building positivity. The best environments aren't just supportive. They are frictionless. They make the desired behavior easy and the undesired behavior hard. If you want to practice gratitude, keep a journal by your bed. If you want to learn, keep books in the places you spend downtime. The environment should quietly push you toward the mindset you want without requiring constant willpower. When your surroundings are aligned with your goals, positivity stops being something you have to fight for and starts being something that flows naturally from where you are and who you're with. Gratitude is one of the most powerful mindset shifters available, and it's available to everyone. And it's the act of focusing on what's present rather than what's missing, on what's working rather than what's broken. Gratitude doesn't erase problems, but it changes the way you carry them. When you practice gratitude consistently, you train your brain to scan for the good instead of defaulting to the negative. This rewiring shifts your baseline attitude from scarcity to abundance, making it easier to stay resilient when challenges arise. A grateful mind sees possibility, where an ungrateful one sees only limitation. Service takes gratitude a step further. When you help others, you break the loop of self-focus that often amplifies stress and negativity. Serving shifts the question from a "what do I lack" to "what can I give?" That question opens the door to purpose, and purpose is a powerful anchor for a positive mental attitude. The connection between gratitude and service is reciprocal. The more you appreciate, the more you feel compelled to give. The more you give, the more you notice the good in your own life. The good in your own life. This feedback loop not only strengthens your mindset, but also builds a sense of meaning that can't be shaken by temporary setbacks. Gratitude is most powerful when it's specific. Saying I'm grateful for my family is good. Saying I'm grateful for the way my sister checks in on me when I'm stressed deepens the emotional impact. Specificity makes gratitude feel real, and real feelings are what shift perspective. Service doesn't have to be grand or public to be impactful. Small acts, offering encouragement, sharing knowledge, helping someone solve a problem, create ripples that reach further than you can see. The impact on others is meaningful, but the impact on your own mindset can be transformational. Both gratitude and service disrupt negative thought patterns. It's difficult to dwell on everything going wrong when you're actively recognizing what's right or contributing to making something better for someone else. These practices pull you out of the narrow tunnel of your own struggles and into a wider view of life. When gratitude and service become habits, they stop being conscious efforts and start becoming part of who you are. That identity naturally feeds an unbreakable positive mental attitude because it's rooted in appreciation for what is and a commitment to contribute to what could be. A positive mental attitude becomes truly unbreakable when it moves from something you think to something you live. It's one thing to believe in possibility internally. It's another to consistently act in ways that demonstrate that belief to the world. Living it out loud means your mindset is visible in your choices, your words, and your presence. People don't just listen to what you say. They watch how you show up. They see how you respond to pressure, how you handle uncertainty, and how you treat others when no one is keeping score. Every action is a signal, and those signals tell a story about the strength of your attitude. Living it out loud doesn't mean pretending everything is fine or putting on a constant smile. It means showing that positivity is compatible with authenticity. You can acknowledge difficulties without being defined by them, and you can express hope without ignoring reality. When you embody a positive mental attitude, you give others permission to believe they can do the same. Your example becomes a kind of proof that resilience is possible, not just in theory, but in real life. This influence often spreads further than you realize, inspiring people you may never meet. Consistency is the key. Anyone can project positivity on a good day. The real test is carrying it through the days that test you. Living it out loud means practicing your principles when it's hardest to do so, because those are the moments that cement your credibility. It also means aligning your actions with your words. And then, if you speak about growth, you keep learning. If you speak about gratitude, you express thanks openly. If you speak about opportunity, you take bold steps toward it. Integrity between what you say and what you do is the foundation that keeps your attitude unbreakable. Unbreakable. Living it out loud often requires courage. Positivity can be misunderstood as naivety or unrealistic optimism, especially in environments where cynicism is the norm. Standing firm in your outlook despite skepticism from others reinforces both your mindset and your influence. The more you live out your positive mental attitude, the more it stops being something you consciously practice and starts being the way you naturally exist in the world. Others will feel it before they even hear you speak.